Hi everyone, Ellen Jaffe Jones, and welcome to a home that is right on the verge of being foreclosed. It is in short sale, which is the precursor to being in foreclosure. And as you can see, it has some of the hallmarks that you might expect: the green swimming pool, weeds growing up in the pavers. And those are, relatively speaking, easy things that can be fixed, like just pulling the weeds, or having a landscaping service take care of that. And then of course the green pool can be dealt with, shocking it with chlorine. So that's often what you find. And as we come inside the house, there's this mixed feeling as a realtor when you deal with properties like this, because there's some real sadness that goes along with it. The hopes of the American dream, and yet somehow something didn't quite work. And you see things like in here, a card with a 5-year-old that was loved. What was that about? But a lovely house, granite countertops. This is a 4-bedroom, and currently it is in the process. It's always a process. It's never easy, these things. The electricity is turned off, probably because the owner could not afford it. And in this case, without going into a lot of detail, the owners were actually here for a very long time, not paying the mortgage. So the sad part really is like when you go into the children's rooms, and this house is fairly clean compared to some that I've seen, but things are still left. And you see that life was kind of abandoned at some point. This is a very nice bathroom in what people would consider to be a very well-kept neighborhood, but something just wasn't quite right. And it's been cleaned up pretty well. Some of the furniture, as you can see, has been left behind. And we take a look into this room. I guess you can't really see. There was a bed left and some things that belong to children on the floor here. And I think that's probably the saddest part. As a TV reporter, I covered my fair share of stories like this. And people who felt they were being wronged by the system. And yet, when children are involved, and seeing that a commitment was made to pay for a house that no longer can be paid for, it's really sad, because what are we teaching our kids? And yet it's a system that is getting even further out of reach, as we see in our market, that cash is king. Come in with cash and a huge amount over the asking price, and you've got yourself a house. And as we look to the neighbors, those nice roofs, they're putting in a pool over there in a fairly well-kept neighborhood. So as a realtor, how do you deal with this? I mean, it's sad on one hand, and yet if we don't step in the industry and help sell homes like this, or get them back in the market, then the property gets even worse. And then you have problems like rodents and other things that happen with a house that is abandoned. So it's kind of this the double-edged sword of feeling sorry for the people who are in this situation, and yet trying to do all you can, especially in the short sale process, because that doesn't go on your record. A foreclosure will. So in the short sale process, you're just trying to help them get to a point where maybe they can get some equity out of their house, maybe they can't. Maybe they won't get anything out of the house, but for sure if it goes into foreclosure, they don't get anything, and it does get on their record. So that's where we are. Will we see a return of the market conditions where there were a lot of foreclosures and problems, crashing of prices like we saw in 2006, 2007, in that time period? My crystal ball is broken, as most of ours are, but the sentiment on the street is that that's not going to happen, especially here in Florida. But one never knows, and we just keep trying to help people as best we can to deal with the situations they're in. And sometimes people can't see this coming, and sometimes they do abuse the system. But, you know, in this case, you look at the tile, things like this, they had a dog. They were able to somehow afford a dog. And yet the dog, you can tell by the condition of the floors, didn't quite have access to the outside all the time. So that's the challenge. And if I can help you wherever you are in this process, it's because of my background in helping people resolve their consumer problems. I've dealt with this before, so if I can help you, happy to do that. And if you want to see more helpful videos, just click subscribe and like below, and let me know what you'd like me to do. Let me know what you'd like me to do videos on, and hopefully get you where you want to be in your life. All right, gotta run.